Learn by Heart is the new novel from award-winning and best-selling author, screenwriter, and playwright Emma Donoghue. It's based on a true, long-buried love story. And she's here this morning. So congratulations on the publication of this book. And can I say, I loved this book.
Thank you.
Yes. So so one of the women in this true story, we have a portrait of her here. Her name is Anne Lister. So tell us a bit about Anne Lister, because there's a lot known about her.
She wrote what some think is the longest diary in the English language, 5 million words. She wrote about everything. She recorded everything from how many miles she walked to the countries she visited to, the financial details of her coal mines, and she recorded all the women she fell in love with. She had about 12 major affairs. She was irresistible, and she recorded in a secret code that she invented in detail her love life with these women. But what I've chosen to write about in this case is before the diary started, back when Anne Lister was only 14 and at boarding school. She fell madly in love with Eliza Raine, this biracial heiress from India. And this is, in a way, the unspoken part of Anne Lister's story, the love she could never forget, the beginning of everything. And it's back before the diary started, and so for a novelist, that's the irresistible part of the subject that I was drawn to.
Yeah, and you've been studying Anne Lister for so many years. Like, this was almost 25 years in the making, this novel.
I wrote my first play about her back in my 20s, in the 1990s, and I don't usually go back, but in this case, not only could I not forget her diary, but also the interest in Anne Lister has grown and grown. In recent years, there's been a wonderful TV series, Gentleman Jack, about her life in her 40s. And the fandom around the series has actually fed back into the scholarship, because hundreds of the fans signed up to transcribe page by page her diaries, which are very hard to read, quite apart from having the coded sections. And when I wanted to write this novel, I needed to use about 100 letters by and between Anne Lister and Eliza Raine, and I couldn't get to these letters during COVID. They're in Halifax in the archives, and I can't read
in Halifax
that stuff.
In England.
That's right,
yes.
The other Halifax, and 14 volunteers transcribed them comma by comma for me. So this novel is partly crowdsourced, and I'm so grateful to the kind of community that has gathered around Anne Lister.
Right, because it really gives a sense of what all women were up against at that point. There's one point in which Anne Lister, she's 14 years old, she's complaining to her math teacher at the manor that, this math book, it's like the world is all about men.
It's true. Right? It's all a certain merchant and a certain grocer. Yeah. And these girls were at boarding school very much in training to be wives, to be good wives.
Yes.
But Anne Lister was just one of nature's rebels. She was what we'd probably now call gender non-conforming or non-binary. She in her diaries speaks very openly about feeling that she's like a man, that she's like a husband to the women she falls in love with, and yet she says she doesn't want to be a man. So she just was a complete rule breaker. And in a way, she was able to be a rule breaker because she came from this confident background of being kind of, a good family in Yorkshire. Whereas Eliza Raine had a fortune in the bank, £4,000 from her British father, which was a lot of money at the time. But she was trying to, stay under the radar. She was one of the only visibly colored faces in York at the time, and so she in a way had to be a good girl, had to please everybody, had to not let any of them jump to conclusions about her because she wasn't white. So when these two met, they were put in an attic boarding school room together called the Slope. We know this because Eliza wrote down where everybody in the school slept and who was in a room with who. So Anne and Eliza were put in an attic room together and fell madly in love.
And it's such a beautiful love story, the way you've written it. We've run out of time, but we're going to continue the conversation, you and I, actually, tonight in Oakville. Tickets are still available for In Conversation with Emma Donoghue at the Oakville Center for the Performing Arts, and we hope to see you there.
Can't wait.